months for like 500.
Wow.
And funny enough, again, it was Shegun Afolabi that was serving in Jos.
Okay. Oh.
So I just reached out to him and said, do you have tomatoes in that area? He said, yes, they're even spoiled and all of that. I said, okay, please send me 2 baskets of tomatoes. I'll pick it at Ido. And so he packed it for me. I got it and started selling.
Yeah,
selling tomatoes.
Stella. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no. Sorry about that. So, tell us more about it so that you can encourage some of our young folks not to, how will I say, just sit down, collecting money from mommy and daddy. You said something that if you are 26 and you are still collecting money from your parents, something is
you're acting out of season, out of character for your season. Yes, because from 26, ideally, you should be earning. But we know that because of how Nigeria is, ASU strike and all of that, you might not be earning yet. But you don't necessarily have to be in active employment. You can sell some things.
Yes.
So, for example, today, after service, a lady reached out, a young girl reached out to me to say that, do you know that thing that you're saying, I practice it in my school, my classmates, they like mango. So I bought a lot of it, I washed it, I put it in the fridge, I refrigerated it, and I took it to school, and I was selling it. And I made the money. I said, okay, so now that you made money, what do you do with the money? She said she's saving. I said, where are you saving the money? She said she's saving inside Kolo, a piggy bank.
Wow.
And I said, but your age, you should be able to have an account. She doesn't have an account. I said, take me to your mother. Because your mother should open an account for you. Every child should have an account. That's how you help them to start the act of saving. Because they just get excited. Instead of, because sometimes they think, this money is small, it's 500, let me just buy ice cream. And then you buy ice cream. But if you save that 500 continuously, you see that, at the end of the year, I have 6,000 naira. And you now challenge them to say, if you can do 6,000 naira this year, you can do 60. You can do 600, and they'll be looking forward to it. And that way, their brain will start working like, how can I save? What can I do? How can I make money? What can I give in exchange? Okay, I can write. I remember my pastor's daughter. She would write a story and come to church and say, I'm selling storybooks. Come and buy. It's exercise book that she told. She wrote the story. She even draw the head, picture, she color it. And you want to encourage her because she's not begging you for money. She's trading her talent. She's writing. She's showing you that she can paint, and she sell it. She say this one is 500. Later she come, I'm now making beats, even though the colors are not rhyming, color riots. You just want to encourage her, so that those type of children, you're already seeing the entrepreneurial traits. So you start encouraging them along those lines. And that was the same thing with the tomato. I was first selling only raw tomatoes, and then some women started complaining, can't you grind it? I said, why not? Can grind it with additional, if once any extra value is extra money. Then
you were still working in the bank?
No, that time I was at PwC.
Okay.
I was an intern at PwC.
Okay.
Yes. So I sold blended tomatoes. And you know when you blend tomatoes, because you are blending it, you add water. It will now be big, and then you have to put it in a bigger container and say, Stella, this container is too big. Why can't you cook it so that the water will drain? I said, I can cook it. You pay me for cooking in this, no problem. And if I'm going to, when I was even grinding it, I added tomatoes. So you now start knowing customers' preference. Do you like onions? Do you like ginger? Do you like garlic? Or how do you want it? Do you want it plain? Do you want it very smooth? Do you want it a bit rough? And for all of these details, you are paying me for taking all of these details. Because an illiterate will not ask you, should it be smooth? Should it be raw? Should I put garlic? Should I put ginger? It's what you give them, garbage in, garbage out. But because I'm educated, I'll do it differently. And that's why school is not scam.
School is not scam. Yes. Please tell them it's not scam, because some of them don't want to go to school.
School is not scam. In fact, what school helps you do is it helps you refine the presentation. Because somebody who, if for example now,
school is not a scam. It's not a scam. Because some of them these days, they don't like to go to school. They don't just like to. One of them told me, Pastor, I don't like reading. I don't just like reading.
This is lying. The person reads, but they only read things that interest them. Because, for example, when people send us messages on WhatsApp, they send us epistle. You read it and you press read more, and you see that you already read 8 pages. You just need to find what works for you and your reading style. Some people like to read, visual readers. Some people are auditory readers. Some people prefer to read by conversations. They like book reviews. Just make sure that you are adding value to yourself.
Yes.
So find the style.
Yeah, I told you that my quiet time, we're working on it now. We've already done about 30 now, audio.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, people that don't like to sit down to read, at least they will listen. So it's a wonderful project that we're embarking on. God is helping us. Yeah, conclude that.
So the tomatoes one.
Yes.
So for some people, we blend it. For some people, we cook it. When I cook it for you, of course, you're going to pay me because I'm using my gas or I'm using electricity. And then I'm putting it in a plastic. I'm putting it in a package. You have to pay for that plastic as well. And I'm delivering it to you. You have to pay for that as well.
Wow.
After that, some people say, you know that because you're bringing it to the office, if it stays for so long, the pepper becomes sour. Then I say, can't you fry it? I can fry it.
At a cost.
How do you like it? Do you want palm oil frying or groundnut oil frying?
Wow.
I'll fry it. You pay me as well. And some people say, this one that I already fried, it's already complete stew now. I ask them, okay, is it fish you want? Or is it meat? Or is it chicken?
Sharp girl! Sharp.
Funny enough, it really became full blown because a lot of people now said, if you're already going to market to buy tomatoes, pepper, just help me do my market runs. And some people say, oh, help me buy yam, help me buy onions, help me buy this. And then started buying in bulk. Then my mom was even visiting, so I started understanding when you go market, how it works. We go to, I don't think my 12 market, fruits market. If you want to buy fruits, so you go to Keto market sometimes. And that's how that started. One of the things I learned from that whole experience, because it was just fun for me. It wasn't like, I was still a student. School was on strike. That's why I was actually doing it. Was also the fact that I figured out that if I wanted to do this business again, I knew who my target audience would be. Married women, because they can cook. They always say, it's not my taste. And people's taste buds are different, right? So people say, the pepper was a bit much. The pepper is not a bit much.
I'm a pepperless person.
Yeah, I'm a pepperful person.
No, like pepper.
So what now happened was,
pepperless.
One of my friend had a neighbor who's a bachelor and he was complaining about food and she just said, I have a friend, she can cook it for you, Stella. And that's how we had the meal type table for the bachelor, where at that time he paid us 50K for cooking, and the 50K excluded the money for the ingredients. So he likes his favorite things were stew. He liked beans. He liked his beans to be cooked with corned beef, and then he liked his soup, any soup. And so he'll give us the money for all of those ingredients, and then we'll cook it and deliver it to him. So that's what he eats for the week.
Do you freeze it?
So when we cook it, we deliver it to him fresh. And he freezes it for the week and eats that. And then the next week again, he places his order. And then I found out that bachelors were easier to work with because they don't really know how to cook before, some of them. So they can't complain. They just appreciate the food. The fact that they come back home and there's food to eat. I just need to microwave it. I just need to. So that's maybe a business idea for somebody. Another thing I did was I learned about marketing because I wanted more customers. I was going to say, how can I get more customers? Because it's the same vehicle you take to go and buy something for one person that you use for multiple people. So what I did was I went to some estates and I went to the women's section where they had women doing women meeting, gym. I went to introduce myself. This is my name. I do personal shopping. I run errands. Anything you want to buy, I'll deliver it to you. And I had some registration. So.
Stella, chocolate. Yo. That's nice. I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for making us proud. Any
you,
day, any time. I will wrap up this interview with this. Young people, they are not many of them are prepared to wait sexually. I'm talking about sex now. In the Ministry of Widia, over the years, we have emphasized covenant of purity. How have you been able to keep yourself for these years? I know lots of temptations, sexual harassment. You remember, it's still ongoing. The Senate President and the Senator Natasha, So sexual harassment is real. How have you been able to survive it in the university, at your workplace, here, and all that? So that some of our young folks, they'll be able to know that, look, it pays the weight. It pays the weight.
Well, first, we know that to honor God,
yeah,
you have to be sexually pure and all of that.
Okay.
Right. But another standpoint for me, besides God, was two things, two scenarios that happened to me growing up. When I was growing up, I had this auntie in my neighborhood that I really liked, that I admired.
Okay.
The reason why I admired her was because she had nice things.
Okay.
She wore nice clothes, she had nice shoes, nice bag. I was like, this auntie must be doing well. But the problem was that every night, different cars were coming to drop her.
Okay.
So...
what do you got?
She's a prostitute.
Oh, prostitute. Oh,
yes.
No.
Then she was always fine. She had the latest things. Then all of a sudden, she got HIV.
Oh, my
and then she died.
Oh.
So that was my wake up reality. Like that's when the scripture, that's when I understood why we needed to be sexually pure.
Pure.
Because I'm like, wow, HIV, AIDS,
real.
No way. No, I can't. So besides, sometimes when we read,
but some of the time when you tell some young folks like that, yeah, but there is condom now.
That's because they do not see it. Some things, when you see some things, that's how they say some things are better caught than taught. Like if I keep telling, for example, the illustration we used today saying that any money you don't have the wisdom to make, you don't have the wisdom to keep.
Talk about that quickly.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I just feel like we shouldn't stop. You have so much reps, so much insights, man.
When we talk about any money you don't have the wisdom to make, you don't have the wisdom to keep, is as a result of the several illustrations that we have seen. We've seen people win lottery and in less than 6 months, 3 months, they become poor again. And they just say, the money, I did not manage to. They don't say, they blame. They don't tell you that they made a mistake or they didn't apply themselves. They tell you the money just finished. Of course, the money will always go back to people that have wisdom.
A young man is into, what do you call it? He's into lottery. Gambling, Uwaechue. He won 800,000. This guy sat down in Baba Ijebu's shop and finished the whole 800,000. Gambling again. He is demonic. It's addiction that is worrying me. It's a major problem. Gambling has become a major problem to young people. I know the number of young people have cancelled in that problem.
Yeah, so I think it's when we are talking about gambling, it falls under ways not to make money.
Ways not to make money.
You know how we mentioned that the way you can make money is to solve a problem, meet a need, answer questions,
yes,
give value. So how does gambling? So if you want to assess if your channel of making money is ideal or healthy, just put it against this benchmark. Gambling, what need is it meeting?
Nothing.
What problem is it solving? What value is it adding to the world? So if all of these things don't meet this criteria, then you know you are wrong. So that should be like your checklist or your quick test to know if what you're doing is right or wrong. And why we talk about the fact that any money you don't have the wisdom to make, you don't have the wisdom to keep. It's because you've not handled that amount before. So the money will definitely, you spend it anyhow until it comes back to the level of your wisdom. So if you are a 500,000 naira person and somebody just gives you 50 million, you will misbehave. That's when you will remember maybe the person's father that died 20 years ago.
Stella, let me tell you this story. I think you must have heard about it. A young man walked up to me here in YDI and said he had a vision to reach out to university students, just like we're doing here in YDI. And that he had, I asked him, what's your budget? Here's the budget he gave to me. 22 million naira.
For just one outreach?
No, just one outreach. And he said, then I asked him, have you managed 500,000 before? He said, no. 1 million, no. God gives you 22 million naira. God is wicked. He was just looking at me. I said, no man will give you money that you cannot manage. So the first thing is, manage this little. Let's see what you are. God is not a wicked God. God is not a God of kalu. He's not a gambler, and he doesn't promote gambling in any form. And so I now said, from the garden, love garden, from that axis. I said, from that love garden down to that massive place there. I said, we have never gathered 10 million at a go to put into the project. No. God will give us small. We will put it into the project. Small by small. Now you're a white person, now you're a leader. Yes. More. When YDI started, the first year of our existence, that's about 29 years ago, is we had only 650,000 naira. That was what we had. We have audited accounts from the beginning till date. Any day anybody goes, I want account details of YDI, we are not scared. We say, we'll just throw it to you. Dr. Samuel Madi, you know now. Yeah. Auditing our accounts. That's it. We have never borrowed. We have not taken loan. We have not done any of those things. Why? God has given us the wisdom to manage.
Financial discipline.
Financial discipline.
And that's why we see the scenario of real people that I mentioned. I mentioned about the boys, the happy boys.
Happy boys, say they are back.
At Chicken Republic. Then we also see, and that's why one thing that we see now is when people misbehave, then people try to rescue them. The next thing we'll see is we continue to see that kind of cycle. Later we see the fish pie boy. Later we see the water boy, the guy who was hawking water. And then we also see the case of Madam Jumoke Oni Bread.
Okay. Where is she now? She's in Lagos?
Yes, she's hopefully she'll have a second chance and she'll come back. But those other three people, what we've seen is we also see the case of the lady on the internet who said that a lecturer harassed her or something.
Okay.
Then somebody saying, don't worry, I'll sponsor you.
Yeah.
One thing we need to know is rewarded behavior will be repeated.
Come again?
Rewarded behavior will be repeated.
Wow.
Because when young people see that, I misbehaved, and instead of you need to be rebuked or receive a backlash from the society or the community, I was rewarded. More people begin to misbehave because they see that as an avenue to be delivered or to blow. Because those happy boys, they were dancing. It's not like that's bad, but the thing is, they were doing the right thing, but at the wrong place.
Yes.
Your job is to man a security post. How do you feel when you go to a bank and you see the security dancing? Won't you be confused, like what is going on?
Is it a clubhouse?
Exactly. It wasn't like it was an activation or a marketing activity. If it was a marketing activation or activity at the place, then you can dance, and that won't be a problem. But instead, they were punished by being fired from their job, and somebody else comes to say, I'm going to help you. What do you want? And they say they want to go abroad, and you just send them there without checking if their mindset is even right. If they know that they were truly repentant and know that, oh, we did wrong. Because, like I said again, rewarded behavior will be repeated. So if you
rewarded behavior will be repeated. Very powerful. Let's say it again.
Rewarded behavior will be repeated.
Again?
Rewarded behavior will be repeated.
Wow. Yes, tell me, just wrap up with that now. How you were able to be free from sexual harassment, particularly in the banking?
I don't think that you are really free from sexual harassment.
Okay.
I think it's how you, two ways. It's how you carry and present yourself first.
Okay.
And then how you manage it when it eventually happens.
Okay.
Right.
How were you able to manage your own?
You just let people know what you stand for.
Beautiful.
I just tell them, oh, sorry, I don't do this. And some people will understand. Some people will not understand. The only thing is that you will not put yourself in the situation or the environment that now heightens it, because I'm a human being. Blood that is flowing in my veins. So to help myself, I need to not put myself in certain situations, certain environments, maybe some kind of late night outings, confined spaces without additional, because sin thrives in secrecy. So if it's in public, you won't want to misbehave in public because you have a reputation.
Or let's say, for instance, your manager that you respect so much tells you, oh, Stella, please, let's go for this outing. So what will you do?
Fortunately for me, my manager has not done that. But one of my lecturers, one of my lecturers has done that. I remember he came to class one day and he celebrated people with the highest score in certain courses. Mentioned my name and one of my other colleagues, the guy, and then when the result came out, I saw something different.
Wow. Like,
I saw a C.
As against A.
And he celebrated me.
Wow.
And it was a no-brainer course. There are some courses where you know that this one, if they even wake me up in my dream, it's going to be an A. When I saw it, I just went to him to be sure. Like, I entered his office. When I entered there were 3 other men, because I can remember very well. And I greeted him. I was like, fine girl. Immediately I came in, the language he was already using, I already knew that I just need to get out of this place. So just like, he was speaking Yoruba. He was like, he was asking the guys to assess me. Wow. If I was portable, if I was on point. He was not asking me if I knew what to do.
Lecturer.
I didn't know how to do. So much dada. See, I think I don't know what I'm talking about. So luckily for me, somebody came and interrupted. A senior lecturer came in to ask him something, and I just stepped out and I told myself that I'm going to stay with the C. So I was just going to reinforce in other courses, but his course, any grade I see there, I'm going to take it that way. But if I come back, I will keep getting. So it's different strategies. There are some where you don't have to leave it. There are some other courses where there was one where I prayed, I fasted. That one I saw an E.
Wow, you
I saw an E. They said I did not write the exam.
That you didn't.
It was only my test. It was only my test.
But was that true?
That is not possible.
Yeah.
So I went, and then it was not the fault of the lecturer. The lecturers usually have these boys, MSc boys that follow them up and down. So one of them had asked me out, and I said I was not interested. And he was the one that was going to mark our script. So he decided that he was going to deal with me. What I did was I went to meet the lecturer. Of course, the lecturer was saying, no, I'm not accusing his boy. What do I mean? I saw that wisdom, there was no wisdom in that. I went to look for the lecturer's wife and children, and I went to beg them to help me beg their father to please help me check my scripts. He checked it, and then he saw that I eventually wrote the exam. And then just said, just give you B like that. We'll just give you B, but you buy a recharge card for me. Buy a recharge card for me.
Who did that?
The lecturer. I was in my mind. I don't know bribery or corruption. I called one of my youth leaders. My youth leader said, "Is it not recharge card? How much is recharge card?" But at least did not say buy house. Did not, there are some things that they will ask you. You know that this one is bribery. It's recharge card. It's not that he can buy it for himself.
No, you can't.
So just let it go. So I think because he was also a professor, he said that I can't buy him 1,000 naira recharge card. I remember I bought MTN 152, 3,000 naira, and then I got my and I said, thank God.
It is well with Nigeria. It is well. Yes, viewers, listeners, we've had a very wonderful discussion with my beloved daughter. Stella, I'm so proud of you any day, anytime. You're going to go places. I see you already consulting for big firms. Any day, anytime, you are really on point. This startup that you're working for or you're working with, I prophesy that they will go places. They will go places. It takes somebody with a heart, solid heart for God and for himself or herself to be able to say, "Oh, I believe in startups." You don't believe in comfort zone at all. And when it turns out, you go places, my dear. It will turn out well. All those startups will turn out well. In Jesus' name.